स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम् सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम् जननमरणदुःखच्छेदलक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुयुवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषये भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्री दक्षिणामूर्ति स्तोत्रम। विश्वं दर्पण दृश्यमान नगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वो भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोध समये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महा योगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यत्साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरा वृत्तिर्भवाम्भवनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रघटोदरस्थितमहा दीपप्रभाभास्वरम् ज्ञानैयस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिःस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभात्येतत् समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलाम् बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्तादृशं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहा व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशो मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्स्वमिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। बाल्यादिष्वविजाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तासनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तः स्फुरन्तम् सदा। स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजताम् यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः। स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषो मायापरिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। भूरह्मांशनलो निलों नरमः नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदम् यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम्। नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते नृषताम् यस्मात् परस्माद् विभोः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदम् यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानात् च सङ्कीर्तनात्। सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितम् स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्येतत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतम् चैश्वर्यमव्याहतम्। गुरुस्तोत्रम्। अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यशाश्वतः शान्तः व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमालाविभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अनेक जन्म संप्राप्त कर्म बंध विदाहिने आत्मज्ञान प्रदानेन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोः पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। मन्नाथः श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरुः श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिर्नादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमवशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। And on the very first page you'll find the Shanti mantra. Let me recite and you please repeat after me. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vakpranaschakshushrotam Atho Balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarod Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirate Ya Upanishatsu dharmaha Te mai santu Te mai santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Just briefly looking at the meaning of this Shanti mantra. It is called Shanti mantra, a mantra that we recite for gaining Shanti or peace of mind. As we will see, the last sentence is Om Shantihi, 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 where the word Shantihi is repeated 3 times. Not so much because there is 3 kinds of Shanti, but because there are 3 potential sources of Ashanti. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika, meaning the Adhyatmika centered upon the self. I myself can be a source of the disturbance of my mind. Adibhautika, the elemental world around me, the world created from the 5 elements, can also be the source of disturbance to my mind. Adidevika, even the world consists of the divine forces, devatas, like the planets, etc., also can be the source of Ashanti or disturbance to my mind. So, before starting the study, we pray that we both, the teacher as well as the students, enjoy peace of mind, because that is the state of mind that we require. The teacher requires peace of mind to properly communicate what it is that he or she has to communicate. And the student, the listener also requires peace of mind to grasp what the teacher is communicating. And there are several Shanti mantras which we find in different Vedas. So when we study in Upanishad, which is part of Veda, then traditionally we recite that Shanti mantra which comes from that particular Veda. So the subject matter is Chhandogya Upanishad, that belongs to the Samaveda, and therefore here is a mantra which comes from Samaveda. It says Om Apyayantu Mama Angani. Mama Angani, my limbs. Apyayantu. So may they all grow, they become strong. Vriddhim prapnavantu. May they gain strength. May all my organs become strong, well developed, well mature. For what purpose? Brahmadhyan anukulataya. May my limbs become strong, well developed, to aid me in listening to the teaching, in mananam, reflection upon that, nididhyasanam, in meditation, shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. Shravanam, listening to the scripture from the lips of the teacher. Mananam, reflection upon what I have understood from the teacher. Nididhyasanam, deeply meditating upon that in order to assimilate and make it my own. We'll talk about that. So all of that requires the fitness of the various limbs of my body. My body, my sense organs, my mind, all of this should be favorable to me. They should favor me. They should cooperate with me in this whole effort. So, mamangani, my limbs. Which limbs are there? Vak, prana, chakshuhu, shrotram, atho, balam, indriyani cha sarvani. The translation. Vak means the speech. Prana, the vital force. Chakshuhu, the eyes. Shrotram, the ears. Atho, balam, the strength. Sarvani cha indriyani, and all the organs. The way it begins is Vak, the speech, Prana, the vital force, eyes, Shrutram, the ears, the strength, and rest of the sense organs. All of these grow, be well developed to aid me into the study of the scriptures, study and contemplation upon the scriptures. That is the purpose here. Purpose is not to fight with somebody or that kind of a strength we are not asking for here. It's not the strength, physical strength, or coming from a desire to combat with somebody. That's not the strength that we are seeking here. We are seeking basically what you may call a spiritual strength, really. That with my speech, let my speech be employed in uttering this mantra, singing the glories of the Lord. My pranas also the vital air also become strong to give me the strength to all the limbs. The eyes also be there to look at have darshan of the teacher, of the Lord, the ears to listen to the teaching of the teacher, and the strength to will sit for a period of time, even to listen, to meditate, all of that also requires fitness of the body. And so we pray for the fitness of all the limbs, they be cooperative to me, become my aids, my friends in pursuing the knowledge, which is what I am seeking. This is one part of the prayer. Then second part of the prayer, it says, Sarvam Brahma Aupanishadam. Sarvam Aupanishadam Brahma. Sarvam Brahma, all this is Brahman, all this is Ishvara. What is Brahman? Aupanishadam, that which is revealed in the Upanishads. And we will see that in this Upanishad itself, that what is Brahman. In the words of Puja Swamiji, what is Ishvara. What is Brahman. We will see how that is so. That's the subject matter of the Upanishad. But what is important is not only what it is Brahman, but I want that to become the reality of my life. It's not only enough. Person says, I believe in God. Now, what is meant by believing in God? To believe in God means that to keep God in our mind. In doing whatever we are doing, if someone is watching what we are doing, then we are always careful in what we do. Meaning all of this Ishvara, God, then what should our attitude be? A respectful attitude, the worshipful attitude. All this is Brahman. But I do not see Brahman. Upanishadam, it is revealed by the Upanishads. Meaning that Upanishads show us the way of appreciating or seeing Brahman everywhere. What is this Brahman? But there is something to understand. Our Swami used to say that God is not to be believed, God is to be understood. Why is it so? The belief is called for something which you do not experience, which is away from here, which is remote. And then let's say if they say God is in heaven, then that is a matter of belief. Because someone tells me there's no way that I can verify that. But Vedanta says what is here and now is God. What do you mean this is God? How can God be like this? Well, these questions may arise. Therefore, we say that God is to be understood. What is God? In what way is it so? I have some concept about God in my own mind. God should be like this and like that. That's the kind of concept. Everybody has a concept of God. I don't see that here. And therefore I conclude that the God is not here. What I see is not God. God is not here. God may be somewhere else, or may not be there. So this statement here says, Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. What is Brahman, which is revealed by Upanishads. It is taught by the Upanishads. And the Upanishad that we are studying exactly says that. What is Brahman. What is God. And by God, if you understand what is divine, what is beautiful, what is his existence, what is his consciousness, what is his love, whatever be your definition of God, not in terms of a certain description, but then truth is God. They say God is truth, truth is God. God is love, all right? So, what is his truth? What is his love? What is his harmony? What is his existence? As we will see. This being the case, then which means that I am constantly communicating with God in one way or the other. In fact, it is not that God is out there, my own self also is God. And therefore, God constantly pervades my life in every way. And therefore, the prayer says, Maham Brahma Nirakurya. May not deny Brahman. What is his Brahman? May I keep that in my mind, may always be conscious and alert about the fact that what is Brahman, and may not deny Brahman. So, what do you mean by denying Brahman? Sometimes I say there is no God. That's a denial of Brahman. Or even to say that this is not God, God is elsewhere, even that is also in a way denial of what is. So, may I not deny Brahman until I discover the fact that what is Brahman. It says Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam, what is Brahman, revealed by Upanishad. No, right now that has not become reality for me. If I appreciate what is Brahman, then Brahman becomes very much the basis of my life. But then, until the time that I see what is Brahman, I still see only the names and forms and people and things, which they are there. But then all names and forms are manifestation of Brahman. As long as still that has not become reality to me, may always that be in my mind. Then may I not deny Brahman. May my behavior be always respectful. If Brahman is everything, Brahman is self of all, Brahman is myself, then you are myself. So ideally, I should treat you the way I treat myself. That's the way to respect Brahman. Ideally, if I am Brahman and you are Brahman, you are myself, then you are what I am. So ideally, I should treat you the way I treat myself. Or at least I should treat you the way I like to be treated by you. That is respecting Brahman. So as our Swami used to say, Brahman is manifest as very order in the universe. And what is that order? Order is that as human beings, we are aware of the way I wish to be treated by you. I'm very conscious about the way I want to be treated by you. I'm very clear that no, I do not want you to hurt me. I do not want you to cheat me. Or I want you to be kind to me, forgiving to me. I'm very clear about what I want from others. And I know that others also expect the same from me. And therefore, I should attempt always to do to you what I expect from you, or refrain from doing something that I do not want you to do to me. That's a simple thing. So, taking into account the fact that what is Brahman, what is myself, ideally I should treat others as I treat myself. But it doesn't happen. When it does not happen, whenever my mind is overcome by ragadvesa, attachments, aversions, with anger, jealousy, greed, then that doesn't happen. So here is a prayer that may always remember that I should treat others and respect others as I respect myself. In that awareness, all my impulses, such as anger, etc., may they be subdued, and then I always respect and revere Brahman, the self, which is everywhere. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. May Brahman also not deny me. May I not deny Brahman. May Brahman not deny me. Because to respect Brahman, as I said, I need to be alert. I should also keep under control my impulses of kama, krodha, lobha, the lust, anger, greed. I should keep those impulses in control. It is very difficult. And for that, I need the grace of Ishvara. So may Brahman do not deny me, meaning that may I always enjoy the grace of Brahman. May always enjoy the grace of Ishvara. So that I'm alert as to what I should be doing. That I'm alert that I do not become overcome by my impulses. And that I do what is right. So for me to do what is right, I require help. Whose help? Ishvara's help, Brahman's help. And therefore, may that Brahman not deny me. May always enjoy the grace of Brahman, grace of Ishvara, so that I do what is the right thing to do. That in my life, Brahman must pervade my life. Whatever I do must be in keeping in mind that what is Brahman. Imagine that there is a very reverential person. We are in presence of a very respected, reverential person, like Puja Swamiji is there, let us say. Then, then when I talk and whatever I do, I always keep in mind Swamiji is here. Outside I may talk in a different way, may behave in a different way, but in that presence, I conduct myself in a certain way. Is it not so? So Ishvara is there. Everywhere Ishvara is there. Then what do you talk? That I should try to keep that in mind that the most reverential, most worshipful entities around. So how should I conduct myself? And it's not that only outside, everywhere he is. So not only I behave well when I'm with you, because of course that I should do, because of my impression before you, but I should do that even when I'm by myself, because there also Ishvara is there. So this awareness of Ishvara, may it pervade in my life. May I be aware of this fact. And then may I be aware of the way I should conduct myself. Not only conduct myself outwardly, but in fact, even in my thinking process, also they should pervade. just accepting Ishvara. Asanneva bhavati asad brahmedi veda chet asti brahmedi chet veda santamenam tato viduhu iti. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, one who says there is no God himself becomes non-existent. Because God means existence. When we deny God, we are denying existence. On the other hand, one who says there is God, meaning that one always keeps God in mind while conducting himself or herself, himself also becomes Sat, becomes not only Sat means existence, becomes good, noble, ultimately becomes Sat means Ishvara. So Upanishad prescribes that being aware constantly of the fact that Brahman is very important for us to one day know Brahman and become Brahman. Anirakaranamastu, anirakaranamyastu. That there is no spurning of me by Brahman, there will be no rejection of Brahman by me. May I not reject Brahman. Meaning that not taking into account. May Brahman not reject me. Always shower its blessings upon me. Second part of the prayer. Then third part of the prayer. Tadatmani nirate yopanishatsu dharmas te mai santu te mai santu. Tadatmani nirate. For the one who is engaged in the pursuit of self, that is me. I who is devoted to the pursuit of the self-knowledge, nirate. So very well devoted to. Atmani nirate, very well devoted to the self, meaning to the self-knowledge. So I who is committed to the pursuit of self-knowledge in me, ye Upanishatsu dharmaha te mai santu. The dharma, the virtues which are prescribed by the Upanishads. Upanishads themselves prescribe the virtues that the student of Upanishad should have. What virtues does should a student have? Upanishad itself prescribes. Shanto dantaha uparataha titikshuhu Shraddhavetto bhutva atmani atmanam pashyati. Upanishad says that who sees the self in the self? Shantaha, who enjoys the tranquility of the mind. Dantaha, who enjoys self-control. Uparataha, who enjoys a mind which is centered upon the self, inward-looking mind. Titikshuhu, one who has forbearance. Shraddhavitaha, who enjoys the abundance of Shraddha or the trust in the teacher and the scriptures. And Samadhanam, who enjoys the concentration of the mind or single pointedness of the mind. So these are the qualifications that Upanishads prescribe for the student of Upanishad. So Tadatma, I who is devoted to the pursuit of self-knowledge, that pursuit can become successful provided I have the requisite preparation, particularly pursuit of knowledge. I mean, any pursuit requires always preparation, any pursuit. So also the pursuit of any form of knowledge requires preparation. For pursuing a college degree, I should have high school diploma. For pursuing PhD, I should have the college degree, etc. Here, it is not that kind of qualification that is required. In the pursuit of self-knowledge, what I require basically is the support of my own mind, as I said earlier. I want that my mind, my sense organs, my limbs, my personality should support me, should cooperate with me. should be with me. I want to think of Brahman and my mind won't think of something else. Now that doesn't work. So I want that the mind should do what I want it to do. The eyes should see where I want them to see. Otherwise, eyes have their own agenda. Sense organs have their own agenda. The mind has its own agenda, which agenda may be quite different from my agenda. So let that agenda also coincide with my agenda, meaning that the mind wants to think what I want it to think. The eyes desire to see what I want them to see, etc. So thus, these qualifications, these virtues which these scriptures prescribe for a student of self-knowledge, may I possess them, may I acquire them. Three prayers are there. First prayer is that all my limbs be well developed and well mature for the pursuit of this knowledge. Number two, what is this Brahman endeavor? May my life always be centered upon this reality that what is this Brahman. And thirdly, the virtues that are prescribed in the Upanishads. May I acquire those virtues. One of the best Shanti mantras, my most favorite by the way, is the Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. So with this prayer, we begin this study. Now, how many of you did not attend the camp last year? Quite a few. Okay, good. Good or not, I don't know, but yes, good. This is a habit. Whatever is good anyway. It is good that I know. Because as you see from this camp booklet, we have chosen the study of the sixth chapter of Chandogya Upanishad. Upanishad, I presume that all of you know. Just to summarize what Upanishad means. Upanishad means knowledge. The word Upanishad is used in the Vedas in the sense of knowledge. And Upanishad also means knowledge or meditation. Meditation upon devatas, meditations upon the gods is also called Upanishad. But then the derivative mean the commonly understood meaning of Upanishad is meditation. But the derivative meaning of the word Upanishad, Upa, Ni, and Sad. So Upanishad means knowledge. Now what knowledge, what's the subject matter of knowledge? Knowledge about what? That subject matter of the knowledge is revealed by the first prefix called Upa. This Upanishad, the word Sat is the root, verbal root, to which two prefixes are applied. Upa and Ni are the prefixes, and Sat is the verbal root or verb. So first prefix is Upa. Upa means samipyam, proximity. See, Upanishad is knowledge. Then what is the subject matter of is knowledge about what? Knowledge about something that is proximate, something that is close, proximate. How proximate? If there is no qualification of proximity, it is unqualified proximate, meaning that it is the proximate, the near. What would that be? You are nearer to me than the Ganges. This table is nearer to me than you. My body is nearer to me than this table. Who is nearest to me? Myself is the nearest, the close, the proximate, unqualified proximity. Meaning that if you do not qualify the proximity, then unqualified proximity ultimately culminates into what? My own self. The most proximate is myself, isn't it? So they can't be closer to me anything than that. Therefore, if upa means proximate, then Upanishad is the knowledge of that which is proximate, meaning it is the knowledge of the self, self knowledge. Next question, what kind of knowledge? That is revealed by the second prefix called ni, upa ni. So it is knowledge which is called ni means nischitam jnanam. The firm knowledge, clear knowledge. So the Vedanta prescribes knowledge that should be free from. The knowledge has three obstacles. One is called avaranam. Avaranam means what? The ignorance. Second is called samshaya. Samshaya means doubt. And third is viparya. Viparya means the wrong conclusion. There are three obstacles to self knowledge. Every knowledge may not have these obstacles, but self knowledge has these three obstacles. First, of course, is ignorance, which is a basic obstacle. It's called avaranam. Avaranam means a veil which conceals something which is there. Similarly, also, myself is there. I am very much there. But then somehow I am veiled from my own self, meaning that there is ignorance of my own self. Self ignorance. So, this is the first obstacle, avaranam, for which we have the shravanam, listening to the teacher. So, primary means of knowledge is shravanam, listening to the unfoldment of the scriptures from the teacher. Listening is not just listening. It is called Atma Vichara. It is the deliberation upon the self. And therefore we study the Vedanta, Upanishads and other texts. Because the primary subject matter of Vedanta is the self. Primary subject of Upanishad is self. And Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra and other texts which are based on Upanishad, subject matter is self. So Atma Vare Shrutavya, you must listen to the self. For gaining the knowledge, the first step is listening to the self. How can you listen to the self? Listening to the unfoldment of the self. And what is it that unfolds the self? The Upanishads, the Vedanta unfolds the self. Therefore, listening to Vedanta. Listening means listening from somebody. Listening from whom? Listening from the teacher. What is meant by teacher? Teacher is the one who ideally is the well versed in the scriptures as well as abiding in the knowledge. Ideal teacher. So listen to the unfoldment of the self from the teacher based on the scriptures. When teacher also does not teach something which is the figment of his imagination. Traditionally, a teacher does not teach something that is his own individual thinking. He only teaches what is coming down in tradition. So in Vedanta, not only guru or teacher is important, but guru parampara, the whole lineage of teacher is important. Coming from Lord Shiva himself, Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Beginning from Sadashiva, Lord Shiva, Dakshinamurti, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, the one who which has Shankaracharya is the middle link, Asmadacharya Paryantam, and then ending or culminating in our to our own teacher. Because Swami used to say that every teacher also must have a teacher. Every teacher was also a disciple once upon a time. His teacher also was a disciple once upon a time. If every teacher is a disciple, then every teacher has a teacher. So you keep how far will you go? You go all the way up to the first teacher, isn't it? But if every teacher is a disciple, then first teacher also should be a disciple, is it not so? There is no first teacher. If first teacher also is a disciple, then again you continue. Therefore, the first teacher must be a teacher and not a disciple. This whole sequence is to end someplace. Where will it conclude? To the first teacher who is not a disciple. How come? Because he is the embodiment of knowledge. Means Ishvara himself has to be the first teacher because he is the embodiment of knowledge. Therefore, his knowledge itself, meaning that he doesn't require knowledge from somebody. And therefore, this lineage or succession of the disciple teacher lineage is always traced to Ishvara. This is our belief, and this is the point is that the teacher only imparts that which is traditionally coming down from in the lineage of teachers to disciple. That is because the pramanam, the means of Upanishad, is called the means of knowledge. Meaning Upanishads are a source of knowledge. And teacher becomes source of knowledge because the teacher is identified with the Upanishad, not otherwise. A person becomes a source of knowledge only if that person is identified with the source of knowledge. So Upanishad is the primary source of knowledge. But Upanishads are in the form of words. And so how do we, if we independently study the Upanishads, then we don't have the adequate preparation to understand what they mean. Therefore, we require a teacher who unfolds the teaching of the Upanishads. But teacher does not talk about something which is his own original. There is no originality here. Teacher also does not claim any originality. See, if you study Bhagavad Gita, in more than one places, Lord Krishna says, Ahuhu, Urdhumulam, Adashakam, Ashwatham, Prahuhu, Avyaya. They say that there is this tree of samsara. They who says? Lord Krishna says, they say. Meaning when Lord Krishna, even though he is Lord, he also quotes from the great teachers. Even Lord Krishna also does not claim to teach something which is independent. Lord Krishna is happy to be identified with the tradition. Meaning a teacher doesn't require to be original. The originality is in the methodology of teaching. That way every teacher may have some uniqueness, some originality in the method of communication. So that is what makes one teacher different from the other. But what they teach is the same. Sadashiva Samanam. What Lord Sadashiva, Lord Dakshinamurti taught his first disciple Sanat Kumara is what Shankaracharya taught his disciples, is what our teacher also is teaching, etc. So this is our belief. There was Shravanam. Shravanam means listening to the teacher, listening to unfoldment of the scriptures. That removes ignorance. So Shravanam, listening, is a primary means of knowledge or removal of ignorance. Then there is a second obstacle. The, you know what the Upanishad reveals is so radically different from what I have been thinking so far. Or what the Upanishad reveals is so radically different from what I see that might say, that is true. But this also seems to be true. The non-duality is true because Upanishad says. But duality seems to be true because that is what I find. Upanishad says I am limitless, but I feel that I am limited. So thus there are equal standpoints. You follow? What is called doubt is when two things looks. Samshaya is ubhaya koti, meaning that both of them thinking from the standpoint of Upanishad, yes. But looking at myself, I am limited. Upanishad says, what is this God? What do you mean God? I don't see him. So, because of my orientation all this time of duality, of taking myself a limited being, even after understanding what the Upanishad teaches, my mind keeps on raising doubts. How can this also true? But this also looks true. So all these doubts should be resolved by that the process of mananam, meaning that we should reflect upon this. We should apply the right kind of reasoning, because my beliefs at the present, my present beliefs, are all product of my reasoning. When I say, hey, you are different, I am different, isn't it so? Are you not different from me? You're not? No, yes, I am. So, what requires? So, I know that every day we hear that what you are is what I am, but then I say, are you really so? No, I don't think so. So, that you are different from me is a conclusion that I have arrived at by a sudden process of reasoning. Understand? What's reasoning? What is you? You are that. That body, mind, sense complex is you. And who am I? This body, mind, sense complex is I. And therefore, you are you, I am I. Thus, in arriving at this conclusion that you are different and I am different, there is a reasoning process in my mind where I look upon myself as confined to this body, mind, sense complex and consider you or look upon you as confined to that body, mind, sense complex. From there arises this conclusion that you are different and I am different. Certainly, that body is different, this body is different, that mind is different, this mind is different. So, certainly things are different someplace. Now, Upanishad teaches me, hey, you are not this body, mind, sense complex, you are the witness, you are the consciousness. So, when I apply that way of reasoning, then my reasoning can be corrected. You follow? So, the doubts arise because right now I hold a number of opinions which are all based on my present method of reasoning, which we call ignorance. And now Upanishad provides us another method of reasoning based on knowledge. Therefore, you know what I'm required to do? That every time my mind comes up with a doubt, no, this also looks right. Even though Upanishad says that, this also looks right. Because that is based on some process of reasoning that I have had. Therefore, I question my reasoning. My conclusion that you are that body, mind, sense complex, that my conclusion, I am this body, is that conclusion valid? I've never subjected my conclusions to thinking at all or reasoning. I've just taken for granted. Meaning that our whole life is based on having taken things for granted. So I question every conclusion of mine based on the reasoning provided by Upanishad, not just any reasoning. Because there are people who provide reasoning, they create further doubts. Sankhya's provide some reasoning, Nayayikas provide other reasoning. So they also have reasoning which create further doubts. But then in each case, I must apply the reasoning provided by Upanishads. Then I can see where the defect of reasoning is, where I am making a mistake in reasoning, where Sankhya is making a mistake, where Nayayika is making a mistake, where Bauddha is making, where anybody is making a mistake. So these are the things then. Now where Christianity is there, where this, so many other things are there. And if you feel that they present a different standpoint, then we wonder whether that is right or this is right. You provide the reasoning to clear all the doubt. This is an important process called mananam. So this samshaya, the doubt is the second obstacle, which is to be removed by the process called mananam, in this reasoning based on the Upanishads. And there is a third problem. Now I know very well. I am Brahman, you are Brahman. What is this Brahman? It has become very clear to me. So whenever I'm in my right mind, then I'm fine. When I'm not in my right mind, some people are very good, when they are, some children also so nicely behave when they are in the right mind. All of a sudden you find them behave in a very strange way. So we also do that. As long as I'm in right mind, then I sit in a proper way, I talk in this way, but when I'm not in my right mind, when I'm overcome by anger, sadness, jealousy, some impulses, at that time, when I'm overcome by impulse, then I'm not alert. When not alert, then the habit takes over me. All this time, this body, mind, sense complex I've been taking to be myself. And when I'm Brahman, if I'm alert, I'm Brahman. Not alert, I become body by habit. It's called habitual error. And that also has to be overcome by overcoming that habit. That's a long process. It's called nididhyasanam. Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. Three obstacles. Avarana, samshaya, viparya. Viparya means the habitual error of taking this body, mind, sense complex as a self, taking the world of names and forms as real. So when all the obstacles are removed, then knowledge becomes nishchitam jnanam. Knowledge which is firm, unswerving. That is the knowledge that should really be there, then that knowledge blesses me. Otherwise, that knowledge may not be available when I'm interacting with the world if I'm not alert. So, upa means that which is proximate, shows the subject matter of the knowledge, Upanishad, self knowledge, and ni shows the nature of knowledge, nishchitam jnanam, firm knowledge, knowledge that is free from all the obstacles. What are the obstacles? Our ignorance, doubt, and habitual error. Upanishad. Then third is shad, sad. Sa becomes sha by some rules of sandhi. So sad means visharanam, avasadanam, gati visharanam avasadanam. So this very process of listening and contemplating, basically our problem is ignorance in our life manifests as all wrong conclusions. the way ignorance manifests in our life. Ignorance here does not simply mean absence of knowledge. It is false knowledge. See, Vedantic ignorance is not the jnana abhava is a jnanam. It is viparita jnanam, the false knowledge. So we are carrying all wrong conclusions about ourselves, wrong conclusions about the world, wrong conclusions about God. That is ignorance. And so as we listen to Vedanta, I realize how my conclusions are not based on right reasoning, how I have simply taken things for granted. As I understand Vedanta, slowly I drop those false conclusions. And what is bondage? Bondage is a bunch of these wrong conclusions, of the false knowledge. That is bondage. Visharanam. Slowly there is the shithilikaranam, loosening of this bond. To avasadhanam, when all the ignorance goes. Ambasharvanam, manam, nididhyasanam. So what happens? Gati. Then it enables me to reach my goal. It enables me to reach Brahman, which is my own self by knowledge. So Upanishad thus first loosens the bondage, eliminates the bondage, and enables me to reach what I'm seeking in my life. The important thing is that each one of us is a seeker. What are we seeking? First is Atyantika Dukkha Nivrutti, the cessation of pain and sorrow. Not pain, cessation of sorrow. Cessation of sorrow or sadness once and for all. Pain may be a different thing, physical pain, etc., is a different phenomenon. It's not sorrow. Pain need not be sorrow. Sorrow is a mental affliction. Pain can be physical affliction, sorrow is the mental affliction. So samsara is sorrow, is samsara. You can have headaches and stomach aches and stuff like that. That's all prarabdha. If it makes me sad, then that is samsara. So sadness is my reaction to a given event. So headache is an event. And I become just frustrated and then become sad. So then sadness is my reaction. Then you treat me in a certain way, which I may interpret as an insult, let us say. If that makes me hurt and I become sad, no, that is my problem. Sadness is strictly our personal problem. There is no objective thing in the world called sadness. Sadness is strictly my reaction to a given event or a given situation. But Swamiji, he insulted me. Yes, he insulted you. So what? That seems to justify my that is not justifying your sadness. He insulted you. You failed, did not succeed, you lost. All of this is going on in life. Sukha dukkhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jayo. Pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat. These are all the events of the life which will keep on happening whether we want or not. Important thing is what will you try to change those events? Lord Krishna says, you change yourself. The wheel of events will keep on revolving. Nobody can change them for a very long time. So you change yourself. Your understanding that all of these things do not in fact affect you. Recognizing the true nature of self, one becomes free from the effect of these things. So, what we are seeking is cessation of sadness or sorrow once and for all. Should not confuse pain and sorrow. Pain can be a physical phenomenon. One can be in pain but need not be sorrow, sad, No, pain does not leave anybody. But sadness is our choice. Thus we exercise our free will and therefore freedom from sadness and attainment of happiness. We seek, each one of us is seeking that. That's called moksha. And thus this Upanishad is what enables us to achieve that goal called moksha, gati. So this is called Upanishad. And Chando, so Upanishads are many. Then text also, basically Upanishad means self-knowledge. But the text that reveals self-knowledge also in a secondary sense is called Upanishad. The geography book, we call it. Geography is not the book. Geography is geography. But the book of which geography is subject matter, the book also is called geography in a secondary sense. Called Haradwar mail, they call it now. No, mail is a train. Haradwar is Haradwar, but then because it goes to Haradwar, so that train also is called Haradwar. Similarly, Upanishad means self-knowledge. The text of which self-knowledge subject matter also is called Upanishad. So Upanishad is a text, is a part of Veda. There are four Vedas, number of Upanishads. In the Chandogya Upanishad, so Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. And Chandogya Upanishad is a part of Samaveda. Samaveda also has so many recensions. This is a Talavakara Shakha of one of them. That is all academic, that's all right. The point is just for information that there are all Upanishads are, it's not Veda and Upanishad. That's what we normally say. Upanishad is Veda, is a part of Veda only. Or Upanishad and Vedanta, they say. No, Upanishad means Vedanta also. Upanishad also is called Vedanta because it is at the end of the Veda. Therefore it's called Vedanta. Or it is the very final vision of Vedanta, Vedas, therefore also it's called Vedanta. So call it Vedanta, call it Upanishads. And there are a number of Upanishads. The great teacher Adi Shankaracharya has written commentaries called Bhashya on 10 Upanishads of all of this. So they are called 10 major Upanishads because he chose to write the commentary. Traditionally, there are 108 Upanishads. Traditionally, 108. But as they kept on doing research, now there are more than 300 Upanishads. What is Upanishad? The text of which the subject matter is self-knowledge. Of them, Chandogya is one of them and one of the very major and very important Upanishads. And so we'll continue in the next class about this Chandogya and enter into the text. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. The next class is 11:15. Next class is 11:15.